Hello, welcome to News Mongolia on MNB World. I am your host, Jugder Rambold. And for our top stories for today. Pipeline construction begins for Mongolia's first oil refinery. Ministry of Foreign Affairs to visit China for talks on strengthening strategic partnership. The 1 billion trees campaign faces a shortage of forestry engineers. For other news, stay tuned. Construction has started for a 530-kilometer pipeline transporting crude oil from oil field in the Tamsuk Basin in Matatsom, Dornot Province, to Mongolia's first oil refinery, which is under construction in Altanshirasom, Dornot Province.
The launch ceremony for the oil pipeline's construction took place on April 28th. It was attended by Dr. Altyn Tsitsik, Executive Director of the state-owned company Mongol Refinery LLC, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of India to Mongolia, Mohinder Pratap Singh, delegates from the Chinese state-owned Norinka International Cooperation Co. Ltd, and other officials. There are 3 phases of work being launched today, all with different deadlines. They are expected to continue for 26, 32, and 28 months, according to the contract. Oil refinery construction is being supervised by Engineers India Limited. We expect to complete the power plant construction in 2025. In 2020, Cabinet decided to transport the oil refinery's raw materials through a pipeline. Norinka International Cooperation Co. Ltd won the tender to finance and build the pipeline, and a cooperation agreement was signed in April 2022. The government of Mongolia is implementing the oil refinery through a soft loan from the government of India to ensure the nation's energy independence and expand industry diversification. After approving a detailed feasibility study and selecting engineers India Limited as the project management consultant in 2019, the project's design and engineering work began. This year, the mechanical erection of the refinery's main technology facilities started at full capacity.
We, the Indian largest infrastructure company over here, we came out to execute this project. And as has been just explained by our president, that we have a footprint in 20 countries and have a $20 billion worth of company which is doing works in all over India and as well as in the world. Okay, and then from signing of the contract, we have progressed a lot in sense we have developed the engineering because this project requires a lot of engineering. So we have progressed on engineering, and then we have already placed orders for our machinery like this, the cranes and the trucks, batch mixing plants, and all over for around 44 equipments which are required very critically for this project. And these are all been lined up, and we are just waiting from some approvals, and some financial inclusions are required for this project. We are looking for those, and in very short, if they have been in place, we'll be getting them to Mongolia. And we see that this project progress in time, and we all wish that they should come up in a good fashion.
We don't see much of a problem unless there is an earth-shaking event happens. Financing is secure, and all we need to do is that there are procedural aspects that are responsibility of government of Mongolia. For example, when we import material, we would require expeditious customs exemption from the VAT exemption, timely processing of payments, timely completion of the pipeline. These are very crucial, and we hope that with the support of Engineers India Limited, which is one of the finest Indian public sector companies overseeing the project management consultancy, we would like to reach the timestones in 2020.
The crude oil pipeline will pass through 9 zones in 3 provinces, stretching 530 kilometers, and is scheduled to be completed in 2025.
Mongolia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Batsitseg, is paying a working visit to China on May 1st through 2nd at the invitation of Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang. The two ministers will engage in official talks on strengthening the comprehensive strategic partnership between Mongolia and China and enhancing cooperation between the two nations. The visit is expected to pave the way for deeper ties and increase the collaboration in various fields. Mongolia launched the 1 billion trees campaign to fight desertification and climate change. But industry experts note there is a shortage of professionals capable of successfully implementing the campaign. In 2022, only 6 students graduated from the Mongolian University of Life Sciences as forestry engineers.
Pimp Dorch is one of 3 students graduating as forestry engineer this year. Initially, 13 students enrolled in the program, but only 3 students will graduate in 2023. Desertification is not only a national issue, but also an issue that other countries are paying attention to. However, only 6 or 7 professionals qualified to work with the 1 billion trees campaign graduate each year.
My thesis project was on new advanced technology to improve the growth and development of seedlings as part of the national 1 billion trees campaign.
Professors say the state's policy on supporting forest engineers is insufficient. In the field of forestry engineering, human resource issues should be resolved through policy support. In particular, there is a shortage of professional personnel. By graduating an average of 60 to 70 forestry specialists per year, critical projects and programs can be implemented to develop Mongolia's forestry sector. There are more than 200 public and private tree nurseries in Mongolia. Assuming there are 2 to 3 specialists, including engineers and technicians, one nursery employs more than 10 professionals. Today, there are more than 2,500 specialists preparing as many as 10 million seedlings annually. However, a study conducted for the 1 billion trees campaign estimates that 100 million trees should be planted annually. Based on the current number of graduates, preparing 100 million seedlings a year is unlikely. More than 7,000 forestry researchers, engineers, technicians, and specialists are needed to prepare 100 million seedlings. A decision has been made to grant scholarships from the 1 billion trees fund to students in the forestry engineering program. An agreement was made that the first 10 students to get more than 750 points to study at Mongolian University of Life Science will get a scholarship from the fund for their first year. Many organizations want to employ forestry engineering students before they graduate and are offering high salaries. Industry experts say only a handful of students choose forestry as a major because they don't know the value and importance of the field. Since the university has promoted the value of forestry engineering, enrollment has increased from previous years. They are also working to give students the opportunity to pay their tuition in 3 installments.
Now here comes the currency exchange rates provided by the Central Bank of Mongolia. Please take a look at the current affairs of Mongolia.
According to the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom, Fiona Blythe has been appointed as His Majesty's Ambassador to Mongolia, succeeding Philip Malone, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland to Mongolia, who will be transferring to another diplomatic service appointment. She will assume her new position in July 2023, as reported by gov.uk. Fiona Blythe has had an impressive career history. She was an officer in the British Army from 2006 to 2010, an employee of the European Counter-Terrorism Service from 2011 to 2012, a researcher at the Policy Department of the Clinton Foundation in 2012, a policy analyst at the International Peace Institute in 2013, and a senior policy advisor to the the United Nations Permanent Mission Representative from 2013 to 2017. Until 2020, she served as the Senior Specialist on Political Affairs at the UN Resident Mission in Somalia. Ms. Split was the Chief Analyst Middle East at the Cabinet Office from 2020 to 2021 and was also the head of the group responsible for Russia and Ukraine at the Cabinet Office and the Secretariat of National Security.
Please take a look at the world news partnered with international news agencies. A UNICEF official in Sudan warned on Sunday over 600,000 children were at risk of acute malnutrition as an internal power struggle continues. Speaking from Port Sudan, where ships were evacuating people via the Red Sea, UNICEF's representative Lawler said before the crisis over 15 million people were in need of humanitarian assistance, including 8 million children.
Lawler described conditions for humanitarian workers as extremely dangerous and said a number of aid workers had been killed in the fighting.
We know that ahead of this crisis, over 15 million people were in need of humanitarian assistance, and that included 8 million children. All the aerial bombardments, the attacks on facilities, the attacks on water infrastructure, the destruction of vital vaccine, that figure is going to go up. Before the crisis, we had 610,000 children who were being treated for severe acute malnutrition. And that means that without that treatment, they would be on the brink of death. Those children are having a very hard time getting that treatment. So we're very concerned about malnutrition rates and the support of those children with severe acute malnutrition.
Gunfire and heavy artillery fire was persisting in parts of Sudan's capital Khartoum despite the extension of ceasefire between the country's two top generals, whose battle for power has killed hundreds and sent thousands fleeing for their lives. With ordinary Sudanese caught in the crossfire, the civilian death toll jumped on Saturday to 411 people according to the Sudan Doctors Syndicate, which monitors casualties. Now in its third week, the fighting has wounded 2,023 civilians, the syndicate added, although the true toll is expected to be much higher. The Sudanese Health Ministry put the overall death toll, including fighters, at 528, with 4,500 wounded.
Please take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a good day.